Alright, so now we're going to learn how the photo booth operates. We're going to start with starting it up, how to change your ink roll, and how to change your paper, and anything to look for troubleshooting wise when you have this out on an event. So first, your photo booth will come with a set of keys. Very important to leave this with the photo booth, not in your pocket, not in the prop tub, not in the truck. This needs to stay hanging from the curtain rod so that we don't lose this set of keys. It's very important for when we need to change paper or open up the back of the booth and check for any problems. We're going to start with the startup on it. In here where the prints dispense, where you can find the power cord. On the opposite side of the booth is where that plugs in. It's underneath, so you got to get down and this is broken. And find where that plugs in. It's right underneath this side of the booth. You take this end, find where it fits in. There's a little power switch underneath there. It goes right in front of the power switch. Take the other end, obviously plug it in. You'll always have an extension cord, but try to get as close to a wall outlet as you can. Now the power switch right by where the cord plugs in, flick that on. You'll hear the photo booth start to boot up. We're going to face this at the screen so you can see the sequence of screens that it goes through while it's booting. It takes about 4 minutes or so for it to get ready. Always best to use a photo booth indoors if we can. Just some things to remember about the photo booth while this boots up is 2 people max inside at a time. The photo booth is tested and pre-programmed each time it goes out, so that if a company wants 3 prints and a logo, we can do that for them. Otherwise, if they don't request that option, it should print 4 prints for them. The photo booth has locking wheels, locking casters, so it's important to, once you get that in place, to make sure it locks. Always double strap it inside the truck so that it doesn't shift, and be very careful when you put it on and off a lift gate or up and down a ramp so that nothing jars loose. It is a computer, so any kind of mishandling will put the thing out of whack. Alright, so that's the sequence of screens it takes you through. Once it gets to this home screen, you're ready to rock. Initially, when you get there, this is one of the first items you want to start setting up and turn on. Even though it doesn't take too long to start up, you want to get it going right away in case there's any problems you run into. You have time to do any troubleshooting on site and get the thing working. So, we'll do a quick example of how the photo booth works. Everything's oriented through these buttons up top. It's not a touch screen. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Like a program.
Hit your green OK button. They can cycle through their pictures that they want, color, borders, hairstyles, or black and white.
Photo strip. Photo booth. Say cheese. 3, 2, 1. Smile. 3, 2, 1. Say cheese. 3, 2, 1. Now printing.
Let's go on this side. Pictures dispensed from down here. This one's already pre-programmed to have a company logo on it from our previous event. Didn't have that option thing. I don't know why it's not printing. Printer error, hardware error. That's good. Keep this thing rolling so we can show what to do in this situation. So here's one sometimes common error message. Printer error. This door here obviously is where our printer is located. You take that key that's on your lanyard, open that door. It looks like we've got a little bit of a jam here from our photo prints. So power light is on, power button's down here, don't need to mess with that. If you ever need to turn off the printer itself, use that button there. Right now we want to get the door open and see what's going on with our printer. And we're going to fix our jam here. So, just a second here. Show this to you again here in a minute, but your paper should feed over the top of this silver bar and back behind this black bar here. So it goes over the top and behind. Do it to where you can just see the paper on the bottom. Now I'm going to shut my door and see if I can feed it and have it cycle through the right way. There's a problem. Jesus Christ, it's like it was dropped or something. So paper cycling through here pretty good. So we got our paper to feed through the right way, so now it's got the error screen off and we're ready to roll again. Do one more example, hopefully the right way now. We'll just redo what we just did before. Okay? Don't turn it off. Keep it rolling, because you can cut that out. Okay, so we're going to do another example on how to do a print. Hit your green OK button. Cycle through your choices. Color, black and white, hairstyle, or border. We'll do a color one. This one's programmed to take 3 pictures. There we go, the final product. So, you can face it at me now. Okay, so everyone who has the photo booth on event's required to know how to change ink and paper. We let the ink and paper completely run out before we go and put a new roll of each in. That way we don't waste money on our supplies. So to change your ink and paper, it's pretty simple. Open your printer door. If you ever forget, the instructions on how to do both are right here as well, so you can follow that step by step. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to start with your door open button. Open up your printer. Basically got 2 rolls in here, 2 cassettes. Miles, will you hold this like right here? So the top one here with the green is your ink ribbon. Pull it down. and slide it out. The one with the green threads is your top. That's your used side. You'll notice that one side is smooth, one side has gears on it. Follow the picture and your gear side goes on the left and it just snaps right in. Pretty simple. Same thing with this side. This is going to have your this is going to be the thicker side once you open up a new roll. This is a pretty new roll, so it's already pretty close to being full. Same thing, white picture, white roll, gears on the left, just like the picture, that snaps into place. On this side you'll see arrows indicating which way to slide it in and which way to push it down. So I'm going to do it like that. Got my green roll in the back, my white roll in the front. It slides right forward in here. It should be simple to slide. You shouldn't have to force it at all. If you're forcing it, you're not level with where you need to slide it in. So pay attention to what you're doing. Get it all the way back and push it up. Ink ribbon is good. Now with this guy here, a little harder to take out than it is to put in. So a new roll. A new roll will look a lot like a giant roll of toilet paper. It's got the cardboard insert inside. You want to poke that out and you're going to slide it over these brackets here. So you'll notice the instructions on the side here. You want to pinch these white tabs in to push that on. Then let it go. Make sure that we're on there. Same thing on this side. Pinch your white tabs in, slide it through the middle of the roll, and now you're good there. Those just drop directly into where these white pegs are. Straight down. Straight down in there. Take your end of your roll, slide it over the small silver bar and behind the rolling black bar. So I'm going to go over this and just behind that one. If you notice down here, Andrew, get down here, you're going to find it feed through the other end. Right there's a good place to stop. Shut your door and the printer will automatically feed it through. If it has problems feeding it through, it probably put it in the wrong way. It's going to come up with a printer error screen if you put it in the wrong way. We'll do this a couple of times. Okay, so we're good now. Always shut your door and we're ready to go. So simple as that to change the paper and the ink ribbon. With the old paper and the old ink ribbon, if that gets changed out, the paper will be empty, ink ribbon will still be there. Just throw it away. We don't need it. Troubleshooting. If you ever run into problems, the first thing to try, if the photo booth doesn't boot up properly, or it's a black screen, or a black screen with a yellow square inside that says no signal, those are pretty common. First thing you want to try to do is turn the photo booth off from underneath and turn it back on. Sometimes that's all it takes. If you're still running into issues after trying to turn it off and on a few times, you'll notice two of those keys, odd looking keys on your lanyard. They need to stay with the lanyard all the time. That opens the back of the photo booth. So I'm going to take them in, insert one there, I'm going to insert one there. They got to be in at the same time. That opens our back here. All your printer connections are here on top to your printer, obviously, and all of your computer connections are down here to the back of the computer. If there's an issue, it usually means something got jarred loose during transportation in the truck, putting it on and off the truck, or rolling it into the site where you're going to be using it. So, first things to check generally are these that screw in. So you got your big black one here to the monitor, and you've got one back here as well. You want to make sure these are screwed in nice and tight right here. Other connections, just want to make sure everything's pushed in. There's a lot of different wires back here. It's pretty noticeable if something was to come loose. You just want to screw it back in there. You want to make sure that this is in. You want to make sure that this is in as well. This is the only thing that's going to be loose at times. That's for your flash drive. So if you have an event where they do 3 prints and a logo, that'll be hooked up with a flash drive. If you don't, that'll just be left free here. Don't worry about that. Okay? You want to make sure everything's pushed in. Even if it looks like everything's tight, try to push everything back in, tighten everything the best you can. Turn the machine off, turn it back on. If at that point you're having problems after a few attempts, then you can give somebody a call. Okay? If you want to adjust the volume, you can turn this dial up here. If we ever ask you to get into your configuration settings and change any of the photo booth settings, that's your yellow button right here, and we'll walk you through that on an as-need basis. Okay, pretty simple there. At the end of the event, very important, after you got everything wrapped up, hang your keys right back on either side on the curtain rod before you wrap the photo booth in a blanket. Double strap it into the truck. Be very careful when moving it. Should take at least 2 people every time we move the photo booth. That's it. And set your perimeter.